My name is Eleanor Thompson. I am 70 years old. I live in a small wooden house at the edge of a quiet town. My husband, James, built this house with his own hands when we were newlyweds. He planted lavender bushes along the front path, and every summer they bloom purple and fragrant. They remind me of the bouquets he'd bring me when we were young and in love. James and I longed for a child for years, but it never came to be. When I was 38, we adopted Michael. He was just a baby, with bright eyes and a tiny smile. From that moment, he was our everything. We loved him like he was born to us, and he loved us back. I watched him grow into a kind, curious man. Now he's 32 years old. I often think life gave us a second chance to be a family. Before Michael left for a new job in the city, he handed me a small gift wrapped in blue paper. Inside was a sleek little phone with a bright red call button and a small screen that had his name on it. "Here, Mom," he said, grinning. "This is so we can talk whenever you want. Just press the red button and I'll pick up." I held the phone, marveling at it, a little nervous. I'd never used anything like it before. I looked at him and said, "Promise me you'll call every day if you can." He laughed, gave my hand a gentle squeeze, and said, "I promise, Mom, you'll hear from me all the time." That little phone felt like a lifeline to him. I kept it close every day. The first few weeks were perfect. Michael called every morning. I'd sit by the kitchen window, a mug of coffee in my hands, waiting for the phone's cheerful jingle. When it rang, my heart lifted. He'd tell me about his new apartment, his job at a tech company, and the bustling city streets. His laugh filled the house. I laughed too. And for a while, the house felt warm again. I could almost hear James's voice in Michael's. Sometimes I made his favorite meal, spaghetti with meatballs, even though he wasn't there. I'd eat alone, imagining him across the table, telling me about his day. At night, I wrote in my journal. My son's voice lights up my mornings. This phone is my beacon in the quiet. But things changed slowly. One morning, the phone didn't ring. I waited, thinking he was just running late. By night, still nothing. The next day, he called and said, "Sorry, Mom, crazy day at work." I forgave him. One day was fine, but then it became 2 days, then a week. His calls grew shorter, his voice more distracted. I could hear music or voices in the background sometimes. "Who's there?" I'd ask. "Just friends, Mom, don't worry," he'd say. I tried not to worry, but my mind wouldn't rest. Weeks turned into months. I still cooked for 2 out of habit, though it hurt. The phone was always with me, on the table when I dusted, in my apron pocket when I watered the lavender, under my pillow at night. Sometimes it buzzed and I'd jump, but it was never him. Just spam messages or wrong numbers. Once, I answered a stranger's call just to hear a voice say, "Hello?" I wrote letters to him in my journal. "Dear Michael, I baked your favorite cookies today. I wish you could smell them. Dear Michael, I saw a young man jogging by, and he reminded me of you." Neighbors would ask, "Has Michael come by lately?" I'd smile and say, "Oh yes, he's been busy, but he calls." Sometimes a soft lie is kinder than the truth. Winter arrived early, the air sharp and cold. The house groaned in the wind. One night, I sat by the fireplace, staring at James's photo on the mantel. His warm eyes seemed to say, "Why do you keep waiting, Eleanor?" I whispered back, "Because I promised him I would." Then, one stormy evening, everything shifted. Rain battered the windows, and the sky was heavy with clouds. I was knitting by the lamp when the phone's jingle cut through the room. My hands trembled. I nearly dropped my needles. I pressed the red button and said, "Michael?" There was a pause. Then a man's voice, calm but unfamiliar. "Is this Mrs. Eleanor Thompson?" he asked. "Yes," I said, my heart racing. "Is Michael with you?" The man's voice softened. "I'm calling from Riverside Hospital in Easton. We found your number in a wallet. It belonged to your son." My breath caught. The rain seemed louder. "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Thompson. There was an accident 3 months ago. He didn't make it. We tried to reach you sooner." I couldn't speak. I clutched the phone to my chest as if it could bring him back. The man spoke about paperwork and belongings, but I barely heard him. 3 months. 3 months I'd been waiting for a call that would never come. I thought my son had drifted away, but he was already gone. That night, I didn't cry. I sat in the dark, holding the phone, its screen blank, but his face so clear in my mind, smiling, full of life. In the morning, I opened my journal and wrote, "Now I know why the phone stayed silent. My son wasn't too busy. He was too far away, beyond my reach." A week later, a package arrived from the hospital. Inside was Michael's wallet, his keychain, and a photo of us from years ago, standing by the lavender bushes. I placed the photo next to James on the mantel. The little phone went beside it, still charged, still waiting. Every morning, I brew coffee for 2. Old habits linger. I sit by the window, look at the empty chair, and whisper, "Good morning, Michael. How's the sunshine up there?" Sometimes, when the breeze moves the curtains, it feels like someone says my name, soft and faint. I like to think it's him, reaching out without the phone. I keep the phone on, charging it every night, not because I expect it to ring, but because it holds our love. Love doesn't stop. It just takes a different form. Maybe one day, when I'm gone, I'll hear that jingle again, and when I answer, it'll be his voice, clear as day.